Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joanna, Kleinman, psychotherapist and CEO of the Mastering Your Mind coaching company. And I want to talk to you about something that has taken over the self-help world recently. And most people are getting it completely wrong. And that is manifestation. So you have probably been told, right, if you're into manifestation, that if you just think the right thoughts and you visualize your dream and you keep your focus on what you want and you say your daily affirmations, that it's all gonna magically appear at some point. But here's the truth. Manifestation does not work unless you stop doing this one thing, and that is trying to control everything. See, so many people think that they're manifesting, but really they're just chasing or forcing or trying to, in some way, control or manipulate the outcomes of their life. And that is not manifestation. That's your inner critic running the show, right? That's the part of your mind that says you're not there yet. And you've got to get that thing or get your life to look a particular way in order for you to be happy. And it's also the part of your mind that's going to convince you that you are behind and that you're not good enough until you make it happen. And as long as your inner critic is leading the charge, even your most inspired actions are actually going to be coming from fear. So let's talk about the real reason that this whole idea of manifestation might not be working for you. Okay. Most people approach the idea of manifesting the life that they want from a place of lacking the very thing that they want. So, in other words, they're desiring something, but underneath that desire is the belief that says, I don't have this yet, and I'll only be happy when I get it. And therefore, I need to do more, and I need to be more, and I need to fix this part of myself, and I need to control that part of my life, and I need to prove myself more. So, the thing about that is that's your survival mechanism. That's not alignment. That is literally creating your life from the place of fight, flight, freeze. So when you manifest your life rooted in survival mode, you're in a particular energy that pushes away the very thing that you're trying to call into your life. So let's first talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you're operating from fight, flight, freeze. Okay. So when you're in fear or stress or urgency, your amygdala, that's the fear center of your brain, it takes over. And so your body, and right, your nervous system is in a constant state of scanning your life for danger. And when you are constantly on alert for danger, and by danger, I mean, when's the shoe going to drop? What if this fails? What if I'm judged? What if I'm not good enough for this? I have to figure out all the right steps to ensure that my life goes in the direction that I want, right? So that's that constant state of scanning for danger. And that shuts down the part of your brain that is responsible for clarity and creativity and calm decision making. So when you practice what I call the embodiment of enoughness, you activate a different part of your brain. You actually activate your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain that can hold vision, that can stay regulated, that can stay calm, that can respond to the circumstances of your life with wisdom and intention and clarity and elevated thinking. So, manifestation happens when your state of being already matches the reality that you want to live in, not when you're frantically trying to think your way into having more. Okay. Now, here's where ancient wisdom completely aligns with neuroscience. Being attached to desire is the root of suffering. Okay. You've heard this in many different forms of ancient wisdom. Attachment to desire is the root of suffering, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we stop wanting what we want. Of course, we have goals. Of course, we have visions that we're trying to create in our life. Okay. The difference is when we want what we want, we have to stop believing that we're not whole until we get what we want, that we're not enough, that our life isn't enough, that we won't be as happy until we get the thing that we want. That's the key. You can have goals, you can have big dreams that you're reaching for, but you have to learn to stop grasping. And that happens in learning how to master your mind. So you have to stop believing that your life isn't complete until something external shows up. Because when you operate from that belief, you're creating resistance because you don't manifest from a place of, I want that. You manifest from a place of, this is already who I am. This is the life I'm already living, a life of peace, a life of gratitude, a life of trust, a life of knowing that I'm already enough and I already have everything I need. Now, let's look at this through the lens of modern psychology. Some of you might have heard of Abraham Maslow. He's one of the OGs of modern psychology. And he has a model of self actualization, okay, that tells us that our highest potential is actually not achieved through striving, but through allowing. And that kind of growth only happens when you feel safe, when you're not in fight, flight, freeze, when you're not constantly trying to fix or control or manage or prove your worth. So your inner critic that never leaves you, because that part of yourself is housed in the part of your brain that is rooted in fear. So your inner critic is the part of yourself that wants to keep you chasing. And the reason why your inner critic wants to keep you chasing is so you'll never have to confront the fear that, ooh, maybe I'm not good enough for this. Okay. But see, I'm here to remind you, if something fails, if something doesn't go the way that you want, if somebody else judges you, that doesn't mean that you're not already enough. That is information that you can take to guide you towards the next step. I can't even tell you how many things along my professional journey have not gone the way that I wanted them to. I can't even tell you how many things flopped, how many things failed, how many things went nowhere. That doesn't mean anything about me. That doesn't mean I'm not enough. Now, I certainly had to develop that muscle. Way back in the day, I used to make that mean that I wasn't enough. But see, I'm here to remind you, you already are enough. You're not missing anything. You've already arrived. So for years, I used to believe that if I worked hard enough and I achieved enough and if I got it all right and if I figured out all the steps, then I'd finally feel fulfilled. But once I started asking a different question, and that is, what if it's already done? What if I already am the version of me I've been trying to become? What if the only thing in my way is the belief that I still have to earn it? That's when I started embodying that, not just knowing it intellectually in my head, but feeling it in my body. And that's when everything started to change because I started showing up differently. And I stopped trying to control every outcome. And I stopped assigning meaning that I'm not good enough when something failed. And I started trusting life and I started trusting myself. And that's when real manifestation began. So I want to let this video land with three powerful takeaways. Number one, you don't manifest with your thoughts. You manifest with your state of being. Embody the version of yourself who already has it. And that doesn't mean faking it until you make it. That means looking at all of the places in your life that already show you how enough you already are, all the places that show you how much you've already created, all the places in your life that show you right now how powerful you already are. And when you embody that version of yourself, you'll create a new reality from the inside out. Number two, your desire isn't the problem, your attachment is. Now that comes from your inner critic. So wanting is natural, but your peace can't depend on getting what you want. Number three, the real work isn't in becoming, it's in remembering. Remembering that you already are enough. You've always been enough. The path forward is about unhooking from your inner critic that tells you that you're not enough and returning to your authentic self. So here's what I want you to reflect on after this video. Ask yourself, what if it's already done? Who would I be today if I knew deep down that everything I desire is already on its way? How would I think? How would I feel? How would I act? And then become that version of yourself, not someday, now, because you do not need to chase, you just need to allow. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video, first of all, please share it with somebody that could benefit from this content. And secondly, please subscribe to this channel so that I can keep providing you with content just like this. Thanks for being here today.